your seat should have your name on it.
You're right there, sir.
Okay. Sorry.
Yes, sir.
Good morning. I'm April Massey. I have the pleasure of serving as the Interim Chief Academic Officer for the University of the District of Columbia, and it is my pleasure to welcome you to Founders Day 2024. Founders Day is an annual opportunity for the institution to pause and reflect on its history, the legacy of that history, and the importance of leveraging that legacy to inform our now and our next. So I am honored to be able to open the 2024 Annual Founders Day Convocation of the University of the District of Columbia. I'd like to welcome some special guests who are with us. First and foremost, members of our Board of Trustees. Would they please stand and be recognized? I'd also like to recognize that we have a number of faculty emeriti in the audience with us. Would they please stand and be recognized? I'd also like to recognize the members and representatives of our faculty and staff unions, the NEA, SEIU, and AFSCME. If representatives are present, presidents, would you please stand and be recognized? We are going to stand and remain standing for the posting of the colors by the Metropolitan Police Department Ceremonial Honor Guard Unit. That will be followed by the singing of the Star-Spangled Banner, the UDC Chorale, followed by the invocation to be delivered by the Reverend Dr. George E. Holmes, Associate Minister, First Rising Mount Zion Baptist Church.
To God be the glory. The esteemed Reverend Dr. Benjamin Mays, noted theologian and the former dean of the Howard University School of Divinity, my alma mater, is author of these most profound words. I only have a minute, only 60 seconds in it. For it's the poem, I can't refuse it. I didn't seek it, I didn't choose it, but it's up to me to use it. I must suffer if I abuse it, give account if I don't use it. A tiny little minute, but eternity is in it. A bishop once said, there are two ways for a leader to go through life. Number one, as a thermometer, or number two, as a thermostat. A thermometer tells the temperature, measures the climate, but a thermostat sets the tone and creates the climate. And that's who you are, President Maurice D. Hayington, UDC, Firebirds. You're the thermostat. And by your mere presence here today, you're setting the tone, creating the climate, not only in the District of Columbia, but for the United States of America, I dare so say the world, as you continue through God to use your minute well. Jesus gave parables. And so we have one here in our 2024 Founders Day of Vocation. Going and growing up and going on the Presidential Highway. President Eddington came at the evening cold and gray to a chasm that was vast and wide and steep, with waters rolling cold and deep. Eddington crossed in the twilight dim. The southern streams had no fears for him, but he turned when safe on the other side, and he built the bridge to span the tide. Pastor President Eddington, Firebird Nation, said, a fellow pilgrim there, you're wasting your strength in building here. The chasm you built deep and wide. Why build you this bridge in 2024 at UDC in eventide? President Eddington lifted up his head, and the path I come, he said, there followeth after me today future generations whose feet must pass this way. The chasm that was is not to me, to any one of my future Firebirds a pitfall be. He, she, they too must cross in the twilight dim. My name is President Maurice D. Hayington, and I built this bridge for them. May God bless you and keep you is my prayer. Amen.
I feel like I should say, I'm supposed to say thank you, but I'm going to say, my, thank you. So I want to recognize some additional guests with us. Niece Charlotte Holloman, the niece of Marjorie Holloman Parker, after whom the Distinguished Teaching Award that will be given today is named. If she's present, if she would please stand. Can we? Thank you. Thank you. Former UDC President Dr. Miles Fisher, who lives in the Van Ness neighborhood and has been a visitor to the campus quite often, but makes all of these award ceremonies. Is Dr. Fisher here? He's not here yet. A former, an alumnus and former employee and former ambassador to Grenada, Dr. Dennis Antoine. Is Dr. Antoine here? I recognize them as a group, but I'd like to recognize them individual. Professors Emeriti, Dr. Sandra Grady Yates. Dr. Sheila Harmon Martin. and Dr. Rachel Monteith Petty. Founders Day is a significant milestone in the life of an institution annually. Probably most important that we make sure that our students are included in the day. We have a number of students represented by classes today. If the house lights could come back up just a minute so we can recognize them. Professor Raquel Brown-Gaston is here with her Legal Environment and Business class. Professor Gaston, would you stand with your students? Thank you. Professor Frederick Ratliff is here from the College of Arts and Sciences, and he has a general education course, Foundations of Quantitative Reasoning. Would you stand with your students, Professor Ratliff? Dr. Antina Germa is here from the School of Engineering and Applied Sciences, and he has cybersecurity students who are attending with him. Would you please stand? And last but certainly not least, as they take up about a quarter of our audience, I want to recognize the cadets and the ever-present nursing students from the community college and our workforce development programs. Would you please stand? And Dr. Sharon Beasley is the program director for nursing. Dr. Beasley, I saw you, so would you please stand? Because those are your students. There she is. So in the following order, we will welcome to the podium Mr. Chris Bell. He's the chair of the Board of Trustees. Dr. Arlene King-Berry, she's the chair of the Faculty Senate. And we have student leaders in place who will bring greetings. And so I will relinquish the podium to Mr. Bell.
Greetings, UDC family. Hope everyone is doing well today. Good, good. I'm delighted, as always, to welcome the UDC community to our annual Founders Day celebration and awards program. This is always a joyous occasion as we come together to celebrate our predecessor schools, Federal City College, Washington Technical Institute, and DC Teachers College, as well as our founding school our founder and abolitionist Myrtilla Minor, and her bold vision of expanding social justice through access through education. This year, we have the added pleasure of seeing Minor's vision carried forward by our 10th president, President Maurice D. Eddington. Yes. Since stepping into the role in August 2023, he has been an excellent steward of UDC's legacy of educational excellence, equity, and empowerment. We welcome him and all of you in celebrating this Founders Day, a reminder of the profound impact that Myrtilla Minor's vision has had on generations of scholars, leaders, and change makers, and the countless generations still to come. Thank you so very much.
Bonjour, guten Morgen, Maque, buongiorno, buenos dias, assalamu alaikum, good morning. As chair of the Faculty Senate, I extend a warm welcome to all, including Chairman Bell, President Eddington, Dr. McMurray, Dr. Massey, other administrators, union leaders, students, my daughter, Attorney Bettina Clark, and my granddaughter, Alice, and our esteemed faculty who persistently address pressing issues in DC, such as in food insecurity, wealth disparities, and gun violence, etc. Today, as we honor Founders Day, let's pay tribute to the visionaries who laid the foundations for our success. From Myrtilla Minor's pioneering spirit to our current commitment to excellence and inclusion, we stand on their shoulders. Let's reaffirm our dedication to upholding our community's values. As we celebrate our achievements, let's also look to the future with optimism and determination to build upon our founders' legacy. Faculty, please stand, and thank you for your unwavering commitment to UDC, Together, we will honor our past, embrace our present, and shape a brighter future.
Good morning. My name is Brent. Good morning. Okay. My name is Brent Thigpen. I serve as your USGA president.
Good morning. My name is Johnny Rongo, and I serve as the president of the Graduate Students Government Association.
Good morning. My name is Imani Robertson, and I have the pleasure of serving our institution's law students as Student Bar Association president of the first law school founded by a Black woman, UDC's David A. Clark School of Law.
Also, good morning. My name is Darshaniqua Smith. I serve as the University of the District of Columbia Community College SGA president. Thank you.
Excuse me. On this Founders Day, let us celebrate the visionary founders and their enduring legacy, inspiring us to uphold excellence and inclusivity as we navigate towards brighter futures together.
So, ladies and gentlemen, as we forge forward towards the future of UDC, we, the students, our faculty, the university leadership, and all the stakeholders have a role to play in the journey, and this journey is the journey of delivering on the promise. So this journey is guided by our UDC motto, which is One Team UDC.
We stand on the shoulders of trailblazers who chose to break down barriers and guarantee access to quality, comprehensive higher education, regardless of a student's race, gender, or sexual orientation. Today, we stand in reverence of the work they accomplished, the dreams they fulfilled, and the lives they changed.
I am beyond grateful to be standing alongside some of the most inspirational future leaders the world has to offer. I am even more grateful for our founders and the opportunities they have created. Thank you all for coming, and I hope you enjoy the phenomenal awardees.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you to Dr. Kingberry, Mr. Bell, and our student leaders. At this time, I also want to recognize some additional special guests in the audience. The senior leadership team, would you please stand and be recognized? The academic deans of the institution, would you please stand and be recognized? Last but surely not least, would Mrs. Tanya Eddington please stand and be recognized? And I want to take this opportunity to publicly thank her for the work that she has been doing on this campus, sometimes in the shadows, but she is always present, and she is always working on behalf of the University of the District of Columbia. So a public thank you. We will now have a musical selection by the UDC Chorale. If you're able, please stand as they sing, Lift Every Voice and Sing. they never fail to give me chills. I just want to say thank you. I want to say thank you to Professor Butler. I want to thank you to Professor Curington, and I want to note that the program has an error. It should identify Professor Butler as the director of the chorale, and it should identify Professor Curington as the accompanist on all performances by the chorale today. I have the pleasure of introducing a colleague in the College of Arts and Sciences, Dr. Uche Udiochu, who is a chemist, and he is the coordinator of the chemistry program at UDC, and he has the pleasure of introducing our keynote today, President Eddington, and so I want to welcome Dr. Udiochu to the podium.
Good morning, everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed leaders, faculty, staff, alumni, honored guests, and cherished students. I am Uche Udochu, Program Coordinator of the College of Arts and Sciences Chemistry Program. It is truly an honor and privilege for me to stand before you today on this auspicious occasion for our university's Founders Day, and to introduce a distinguished chemist, visionary leader, and catalyst propelling the University of the District of Columbia towards unprecedented heights. In less than a year, Dr. Eddington has embodied academic excellence and fostered unity and collaboration across the university's diverse colleges, divisions, departments, and programs. With a distinguished background in chemistry, close to my own heart, President Maurice Eddington brings a wealth of knowledge and a profound understanding of sciences to the forefront of our institution. President Eddington is not only a luminary in his field, but also a beacon of inspiration for all of us. Chemistry is often referred to as the central science. The principles of chemistry govern most parts of natural and man-made world, from the industrial processes that build our homes and schools, to the biological processes that allow humans to interact with the world and each other. All are underscored and underwritten by the principles of chemistry. In this way, we look to President Eddington, our chemist in leadership, as a leading force, underscoring the potentials and underwriting the development of UDC as an education and research center. Under his guidance, our university has witnessed a harmonious convergence of disciplines, creating an environment where the boundaries between arts, sciences, and humanities blur, giving rise to a holistic approach to education. It is the mark of a true leader to not only excel in their field, but to inspire unity and collaboration. President Eddington has seamlessly woven together the diverse threads of our academic tapestry, encouraged interdisciplinary pursuits, and reinforced the belief that excellence knows no disciplinary bounds. As the chemistry program coordinator, I've had the distinct pleasure of witnessing President Eddington's genuine commitment to each department, including our beloved chemistry and biology programs. He has taken time to visit our laboratories, engage faculty, and connect with students, reinforcing a sense of community and shared purpose. His passion for research and innovation has set a standard of academic rigor that permeates every corner of our institution. Under President Eddington's present and dynamic leadership, our university has not only flourished academically, but has also embraced a vision that extends the confines of our campus. His unwavering dedication to the community and commitment to societal betterment reflect the core values that define our university. This community is special for many reasons, but this is a standout. To see your highest values reflected towards you is powerful for students, faculty, and all our community members. What a special time, indeed, to be a black chemist, introducing another black chemist, where we can all reflect on these community values and commitments together at our HBCU. As we celebrate this Founders Day, let us express our gratitude to a president who is not just a great chemist, but leads with expertise, unifying and steering us towards a future where education knows no boundaries. Affirming UDC as a beacon of knowledge, unity, and excellence. Ladies and gentlemen,
inspiring introduction. I mean, the more he spoke, I kept asking myself, is he talking about me? He painted a picture of a person who has some big shoes, and I want to make sure that I step into them well. But I really appreciate that. And I really appreciate, as he said, having a fellow chemist introduce me. Chemists in our field, we have a strong, this is going to sound kind of corny, but we do have a strong bond and connection to each other. so thank you, sir, for that. And as stated, I am Maurice Eddington, the 10th president of the University of the District of Columbia, and I am extremely honored to be with you today as we gather to commemorate the founding of this incredible university and celebrate the achievements of some of our most esteemed students, staff, alumni, and community members. I am pleased to recognize the members of our Board of Trustees. Thank you all for being here, along with our Chair, Chris Bell. Thank you for those kind words, sir. I'd also like to recognize our senior leadership team, our deans, our Faculty Senate Chair, Arlene King-Berry, our faculty members, as well as our staff, students, and alums. Thank you for those in attendance and for those watching on the online stream. And I'd also like to recognize our First Lady, my lovely wife, Tanya, who is also with us here today. So I'm sure you noticed from this morning's program that there is a theme to this Founders Day celebration: delivering on the promise. The word promise has two primary definitions. The first is commitment. To promise is to commit that your words will be paired with corresponding actions. The second definition is potential. A university with promise is one that demonstrates the potential for greatness. So then to deliver on the promise is to fully commit and fully realize the immense potential of this storied institution. And I really want you to reflect on that. I'm going to say it again. To deliver on the promise is to fully commit to and fully realize the immense potential of this storied institution. That's the theme of today's gathering. That's the theme of my talk. And that's going to be the theme of my presidency. So I need to make sure that you absorb that, resonate with it. But if not, I'm going to spend some time this morning breaking it down, just to be sure. All right? An institution whose roots were planted 173 years ago today in the firm belief that all people deserve a high-quality education. An institution that has evolved through the many iterations, but always stood for social justice and as a beacon of opportunity, an institution whose best days lie ahead. And the time to deliver on that promise is now. We offer some of the highest ranked academic programs in the country. Some of you all didn't know that, did you? We're a sought after destination for research and partnerships. We're one of the top ranked public HBCUs in the nation. Let's focus and convert that success into momentum that propels us into the future. We got a lot to build off on. We got a lot of strong, solid, impressive records of success. Let's build off of that and propel us to higher heights. So this morning, I'm going to take you on a brief journey that looks at how we will get there. You will be pleased to know, though, that we already have a roadmap for doing this. And that roadmap is our strategic plan. And that plan sets bold goals for UDC. And though they may sound lofty, as you will see, I have full confidence that we're going to achieve them. So let's take a look, all right? So when we think about our bold goals, UDC will become a world-class flagship university for the nation's capital, a national model for urban student success, a workforce and economic mobility engine for the district, a research and innovation hub that addresses the district's critical needs, a university that unites all stakeholders in support of a shared vision, one UDC. We can and we will do all of these things. We will rise to this occasion, this moment in time, because that is what we do as firebirds, we rise. But before we press our foot down on the gas, we got to take a step back and take a look in the rearview mirror. You may know the best way to get to where you're going is to know where you came from. So if we're going to plot out a path forward, it's important that we know how we got here today and use that knowledge to drive us forward. You got it? All right. So our history. One thing that you may not know about me, and this is true, I see life as a big movie, one big movie, really. And we all characters in the movie. All right? I tell my staff, they laugh at me all the time. I say, that's how I see life. My friends, my family, the person at the grocery store, everybody's a character in this movie. And whatever's playing on our living room speakers or in my earbuds, that's the soundtrack to the movie. Right? You ever heard the phrase, music is the soundtrack to my life? That's me. Right? That really is me. And all of this makes up an ever-evolving story of my life. So I look at UDC in much the same way, right? This is the next movie, the UDC movie, right? And there's an ever-evolving story about who we are and where we're headed as a university, and each of us plays a role, because every movie has what? Characters, right? So we are characters in this movie. But the thing about movies is this. You can't just walk in the movie theater halfway through and expect to understand what's going on, right? You may understand part of the plot, but you won't have the full context. You certainly won't get the ending if you didn't see the beginning, right? You ever had that experience? You get in the movie in the middle, and you spend half the time trying to figure out what is this about, and then you miss the significance of the ending, right? So to make sure that you had a full context, you got to start at the beginning. And from its earliest origins, the University of the District of Columbia has always stood on the front lines of reform. When our students, faculty, and alumni see an opportunity to fight for change, we don't retreat, we run toward it. Thinking about us and our history, the very idea of a national university in the U.S. Capitol was itself bold, and it was championed by several of our founding fathers, including President George Washington as early as 1790. The vision for a national university in the nation's capital. Washington envisioned a national university that would bring together youth from all parts of the United States. He had a vision that Washington would have a national university that brings together youth from all parts of the United States. Remember that when we get to the end today, okay? You got to park that in your memory banks when we get to the end. And together, they would study the arts, literature, sciences, politics. They would engage in meaningful debate and discussion, growing collectively stronger through an honest exploration of their differences and the society they were building together. So all these people would come together, they would engage in debate, interact, a diverse group of people, and that would result in a strong institution and a strong country. Right? all these different people from all over the country would come together. They would engage in debate and come out stronger, more knowledgeable, because what, we're better together, right? And this would be a national university that would prepare these students to lead. Fast forward from that time to a half century, and our oldest predecessor institution, the Myrtilla Minor Normal School for colored girls, was taking shape. While the nation teetered on the brink of war, the abolitionist-led minor school fought fearlessly for reform, training black teachers and pushing for racial equity in a city where slavery was still the order of the day. By the early 1930s, the minor normal school had evolved into Miners Teacher College, a 4-year tuition-free college for black DC residents during the Jim Crow era. In 1955, it would emerge with Wilson Teachers College, built to educate white students, following the landmark Brown versus Board decision that extinguished the separate but equal doctrine. You see this evolution. As the newly formed DC Teachers College sought to find its footing in the 1950s and 60s, there was a growing need for a 4-year liberal arts college and a vocational school. In 1966, those calls were answered with legislation establishing 2 new institutions, Federal City College, a 4-year university, and Washington Technical Institute, focusing on workforce training. Each of these new schools opened during an incredibly tumultuous time for the district and the nation. It was 1968. Protests ignited by the assassination of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. ravaged the city. Poverty was rampant, and the nation was ensnared in a seemingly endless war in Vietnam. So pause and just reflect. If you think we're going through it now, think about what was going on back then, right? Not to say we have it easy, but every generation has this moment, right? And this is ours. But despite this, these schools moved boldly forward, embodying black excellence in a majority black city and attracting thousands of the city's best and brightest. And each did more than merely educate. Each of these institutions innovated, they inspired change, they once again stood on the front lines of reform. For example, a program at Federal City College provided a college education to inmates at a DC prison in Lorton, Virginia. That's innovation. That spirit of reform carried through into the 1970s. The district had attained home rule, allowing DC residents to finally have a say in how their city was run. And Washington was taking another giant step forward in higher education, consolidating its 3 public higher ed institutions into one comprehensive public university in the nation's capital. Just a few weeks ago, I had the pleasure of sitting down with a few of our alumni from this formative movement in the district's history. These are individuals who pioneered this new experiment in higher education as students at DC Teachers College, Federal City College, and Washington Technical Institute in the 1970s. Here's what they had to say about that moment in time.
Washington, D.C. is the focal point for so many of the political and social changes that was going on. So here at Federal City and then even on to University of the District of Columbia, we had teachers who cared about what was happening and made sure that we knew what was happening.
Strong sense of pride, I think. Okay. You know, we're just going through home rule, all of those things. Right. Our professors were all licensed engineers and architects. And so they instilled in us that desire and ability to be part of the renaissance of our city since the riots of '68.
My parents was in the civil rights movement.
Okay.
And DC Teachers College was affordable. It was community oriented. The people in the community welcomed DC Teachers College students, Federal City College and Washington Tech. There was so much love in the community.
So moving forward, as UDC moved into the 1980s and the 1990s, its progress and its challenges were intertwined with those of its hometown. A district budget crisis in the 90s led to a control board to manage the city's finances. And the university watched its resources and its enrollment wane. It was a difficult time for the institution and for the city. But as Firebirds do, we persevered and rose to the occasion. In addition to chatting with some of our 1970s alum, I also recently had the pleasure of speaking with alumni from the 1990s. Here is what current Board of Trustee member Toni White Richardson, who's in the audience, is what she had to say about her time in that era.
I was up in graduate school. We were under control board, and the budget has been slashed like no other. I mean, and it was impacting the facilities and what was offering and staffing and all issues at the university. But what I liked is that they kept pushing forward regardless.
By the late 1990s, UDC was on a steady incline. The Antioch School of Law had joined our fold, renamed for civil rights attorney and DC council member David A. Clark, and more Firebirds were flocking to our campuses. Well into the 21st century, we've continued to spread our wings and expand our reach. In 2009, we added a community college. In 2010, we unveiled the College of Agriculture, Urban Sustainability, and Environmental Sciences. We opened a Gleaming Student Center designed by one of our alums. We added new programs that better meet the needs of our local workforce. We've significantly boosted research funding and corporate partnerships. We pivoted to virtual offerings during COVID, and now we have state-of-the-art facilities to support high-flex learning. And in 2023, we celebrated our first PhD students. And we're just getting started. What about today? UDC is the only public university in the nation's capital, a comprehensive institution offering high quality, experiential academic opportunities in an urban environment. A proud historically Black university that routinely pays tribute to that legacy. Home to more than 70 degree programs, a nationally recognized law school, a bustling community college and workforce development programs. We have campuses throughout the DC area, and we're building every day so that that 18th century vision of a national university in Washington is realized as we prepare the next generation of leaders and change makers. Now, as you heard, I'm a chemist by training, and one of the things that means is I thrive on data. Don't get me wrong, I'm very interested in personal stories and the impact that UDC students, faculty, and alumni are making on their community. But I'm also keenly interested in how our numbers show our progress. I'll be the first to tell you our numbers are pretty impressive. UDC is the number 14 public HBCU in the country. Yeah, we should be proud. Our computer engineering program is ranked number 1 among HBCUs. Kudos. Our law school's clinical training program is tied for number 13 in the nation. Our School of Business and Public Administration recently earned an international accreditation given to less than 6% of schools offering business degrees in the world. That's pretty impressive. We are one of the select university partners across the U.S. for the NASA Miro program. And in fiscal year, don't give it up. And in fiscal year 2022, we received more than $41 million in research funding. And just last year, we landed the biggest corporate grant in UD's history, $2 million. And so that's just the highlight reel in our quest to become a world-class flagship university for the nation's capital. We are already in the fast lane. And what about our wonderful faculty? Our faculty are nationally and internationally recognized. UDC faculty members such as Dr. Afia Fredericks, Professor Marcy Karen, and Dr. Leah Claiborne are regularly in the spotlight for prestigious fellowships, distinguished roles abroad, and achievement in the arts. That's right. Our faculty have contributed research to national conversations on brain aging among Black men, bilingual conversational technology, racism in nursing, female athletes of color, and machine learning and deep fake detection. It's a lot, right? Our students, such as Joshua Cato, Marzia Savakohi, Sade Clark, are on the national stage, serving in leadership roles in their fields, taking top honors at conferences, and seeing their work in major publications. Awesome. Athletics. Our student athletes are high achievers, both on the court and off, with UDC players and teams earning national all-academic recognition. That's fantastic. Academic recognition. Alumni. Our alumni are moving into successful careers in architecture, cybersecurity, filmmaking, information technology, nursing. They include courtroom judges, Emmy winners, Microsoft engineers, and nonprofit executives. Fantastic. Research. We are a sought-after research destination for funding agencies including NASA, Microsoft, the U.S. Department of Agriculture, the U.S. Army, and the National Science Foundation. Our research centers are actively finding solutions in nanotechnology, water resources, and climate change. Right? Outstanding. What about our community impact? We have a habit of serving our local and national community. Last year, some 88 UDC law student attorneys provided 33,000 hours of free legal services to the community. Now you see why we're number 13 in the nation. Our Firebird Farm and urban food hubs donate more than 4 tons of fresh produce to the community every year. That's right. We work with underserved youth in the district, including a recent environmental justice internship for high school students. Right? So we got faculty, students, research, community impact, right? We're doing it. Our legacy, right? As an HBCU, we regularly engage with and lift up our fellow HBCUs, sponsoring and attending conferences, partnering on academic programs, celebrating our many alumni who've made an impact, including the grandfather of Black basketball and Minor Normal School alum, Dr. Edwin B. Henderson. We have a statue. But for all of the progress that we've made and achievements we've accomplished, which is a lot, our best days lie ahead of us. So, thinking about the future and the vision for the future. So the vision that I have as your president, it centers on 3 pillars. I call them the 3 pillar goals. The 3 things that we're gonna focus on, double down on, and really focus on achieving greatness in. And 1, excellence in student achievement. 2, as the district's public university, making sure that we have strong alignment with the local workforce needs. And 3, ensuring that we provide impactful service to this community. So this vision is very simple. We excel, we work, we serve. Those things have always been a part of our DNA. We have long produced high achievers that take on top roles in their field. We have prepared our students to walk straight off our campus into careers. We have inspired innovators and leaders who give back to their communities. But now, as we take this opportunity to build on all of our incredible momentum, we can move even further and faster down the road to fulfilling our promise. And so, delivering on the promise of all that UDC can be means setting and attaining some bold goals. So earlier I said, take this vision from President Washington and park it in your brain. Remember that? All right. So now I want you to pull it out and look at it in your mind, because he talked about a national university, right, that attracts people from all over. So let's dissect what these goals look like for us. When you hear me say that UDC aspires to be a world-class flagship university for the nation's capital, what does that mean? What does that look like? It means we have a stellar academic reputation. It means that we are conducting innovative research. It means that our faculty, our staff, and our students engage with and serve the community. That's what a world-class flagship university looks like. And you may be asking, why does he keep mentioning this word flagship? What does that mean? Is there anyone in here who grew up in a place other than the District of Columbia? Raise your hand. Okay. That means if you grew up in America and it wasn't in this city, that means you were in a state, correct? That's good. And did you know that every state in the union, all 50, have what we call a flagship university? That's a public university, right? That's the university that the state residents are proud of. That's the public university in the state whose mission is to serve and meet the needs of the state, right? And the 51st state in the union, therefore, by definition, must have what? A flagship university. Well, the future 51st state has a public university, and we need to make sure that when the time comes, when the time is right, that public university for the district is the flagship university for the 51st state. Got it? All right. So that's one thing, right? It's one of those 5 things. We also want to be a national model for urban student success. Well, what does that mean, right? That means that we effectively educate and serve the needs of our residents in the classroom. It means that we exceed national averages for student retention and graduation rates, and we close the achievement gap. That means student outcomes for any demographic, they should be the same. One group of people should not perform better or worse based on where they grew up, how much money they have, what ward they're from, where their parents go to work, whether they had parents raising them or not. We got to close the achievement gap. And as the district's public university serving the public, we have to do that. All right? And we want to be a first choice destination for district residents. That's what it means to be a model for urban student success. That's number 2, right? The third thing, a workforce and economic mobility engine for the district. What does that mean, right? That means that we, as an institution, have an impact and improve the economic status of individuals, of families, and communities throughout the district, right? Again, you heard me talk about closing the achievement gap. What about the wealth gap, right? Again, your economic and financial circumstances should not solely be predicated on what family you were born into, right? It shouldn't be dictated by the neighborhood that you grew up in, right? That's just not right. That's not fair. As the district's public university, it's our mission to make sure that we connect with the residents all across this district and we foster economic mobility. That is moving people from one economic ladder to another. You understand? It's elevating their economic status. That's what it means. It means that we have a huge economic impact on the district's economy. It means that as the district's workforce and economic mobility engine, we produce graduates who are highly competitive for high-wage, high-demand jobs. There are a lot of job openings in the DMV. Did you know that? I mean, there are a lot of jobs, thousands of jobs that go unfilled because the employers don't have enough quality people to hire, I mean, in terms of their skills, right? Whereas the district's public university, we can do something about that, right? Because the district has about 700,000 people living in it, right? And when you dig into the numbers, many of those people could benefit from what we do if we have a strong focus on what? Being the district's workforce and economic mobility engine. Number 4, a research and innovation hub that addresses the district's critical needs. What does that look like? That means that we have strong graduate programs. You heard me earlier mention 2023, we celebrated our first PhD students. That's just the beginning, right? Institutions, flagships that are strong in research and innovation have strong graduate programs. I see my dean smiling. It's dark, but I see all their teeth. You know what I'm saying? They're excited. That's what it means. It also means that we have research centers and institutes that bring in significant levels of external funding. Right? Money's coming in. We talked about $41 million. That's excellent. What if we doubled it? Right? That's what a flagship looks like. And that we have high levels of scholarly output across the institution in STEM, in business, in health, in social science, in the arts, in humanities. We're producing scholarly work. That's what it means to be a research and innovation hub with a focus on addressing the district's critical needs. And it also means that we have community outreach initiatives focused on education, health, wellness, social justice, right? So when we think about structured outreach and engagement with our community, using the institution as the core and the backbone, we have a focus on addressing the areas that the district needs help addressing. We are a part of, not separate from, right? If the district is strong, we should poke our chest out because we're part of the district. If the district is struggling with something, we shouldn't point our finger when we read the paper and shake our head. We should be saying, let us at the table to help figure this thing out. Right? That's what we should do. Right? Because I guarantee you, think about growing up. If somebody around the dinner table or the breakfast table at home was struggling, the rest of the family doesn't just shake their head, right? They rally around. They lift up support and align all their resources and energy to solve that problem. So that's UDC. Number 5, a university that unites all its stakeholders in support of a shared vision. One UDC. Many of you have heard me talking about that, but I may not have explained what it looks like. What does it mean? One UDC. For example, it means that we have alignment. We have alignment between the administration, the faculty, the staff, and the students, right? I didn't say we agree on everything, right? You understand? It's better when we don't agree because we challenge each other, you understand? But we are aligned because we have the same vision, you understand? We all agree about where we're trying to go, and then we challenge each other to do our part to get there. But we need alignment among our administration, our faculty, our students, and our staff. And for those of you in the building, this is why I spend a lot of time talking about the vision, right? I am facilitating your buy-in and support because to do something that you've never done before has to be done by a different process. To go where we're trying to go together, we haven't done that before, you understand? So we all need to buy in and work together to make it happen. So we need one UDC with our administration, our faculty, our students, and our staff. We also need alignment with our governing bodies, our alumni, our support organizations, right? They need to be on the same page, right? Again, they challenge each other, right? Alumni, Bernard, challenge the board, right? The board challenged the Alumni Society, but they're challenging each other to achieve the same shared vision, you understand? And our other support organizations, our foundation board, challenge us, we challenge them. We're saying we're trying to achieve greatness. Every great championship sports team had players who challenged each other. They had coaches who challenged them. They were all focused on achieving greatness, right? So one UDC means we have those groups aligned in support of a shared vision. And third point there, we also need alignment of our business community, our politicians, and our community organizations, right? Because many of them have a greater influence on what happens with our future than we do. You understand? All right? We are in the restaurant making the meals, setting the tables, but they own the building. You understand? Restaurant could be thriving, but the person sell the building, what's he gonna do? So you make sure you're in alignment with the person who owns the building too, right? You do want this restaurant to thrive on this corner, right? We are serving the populations that you want us to serve, right? We are aligned with your vision too, right? So the same conversations I'm having with you, I've been having with them. Here's what we're talking about. Here's what my board says they want to do. Madam Mayor, are we on the same page? Mr. Council Chair, are we on the same page? Yeah, that's what we want y'all to do. Got it. We got to have one UDC, business community. You heard me say this vision, these 3 pillar goals, I talked about alignment, workforce needs. We need the business community to be aligned with the political community, to be aligned with our community organizations. They have great influence, right? And so when they're on the same page and we're on the same page, we can move mountains as an institution, right? So that's what one UDC looks like. That's why it's so important, right? Now, to meet these bold goals over these next 5 years, we will be embarking on an ambitious strategic plan, right? This plan, delivering on the promise, that's what it's called, just approved by the Board of Trustees last week, Tuesday night. Thank you all. Thank you. That's probably one of the happiest moments since I got here because I understand and recognize the power of a good strategic plan that has buy-in and support from the community and the governing board. I have seen what it can make happen with my own eyes, And so I'm so excited about delivering on the promise. This plan breaks down the vision and these goals that I talked about into tangible components, such as student success outcomes, academic program quality, workforce development, faculty and staff excellence, outreach and engagement. It lays out specific data-driven goals and strategies that allow us to do more than merely identify where we want to go. They identify what meeting these goals looks like. It talks about how we will get there. It talks about how to measure how far we've come. As I said, we want our university to be a national model for urban student success. What does that look like? It looks like increased program completion rates, higher retention rates, better postgraduate outcomes. How do we get there? By expanding academic support services, boosting scholarship opportunities and financial aid, adding more dual enrollment in early college programs. How do we measure? By reviewing the data and seeing how we're measuring up both against ourselves and our peers in public education. So all of our peers in higher ed, we got a list. I made it with their names on it. I got every school, and I got their retention rate data, I got their graduation rate data, I made some pretty colorful charts, and you think I'm lying? The board can tell you they've seen them, but what they don't know, I got them on the wall and I look at it every day. I'm dead serious. And every day I say, who are we chasing? How far do we have to go? And how long is it going to take us to catch them? Because guess what happens when we catch them? Every benefit that they're afforded, we can receive too. I'm going to give you an example. You still might be saying, well, what's this man talking about? Well, any school that gets money, such as an HBCU, I shouldn't even say this on camera, but I'm going to say it. Any public HBCU that has students who can attend with tag money, what if we had better outcomes than they do? Think about that. What if one day I said, you know what? We have better retention rates and graduation rates. And I told the parents. Some of them might say, why am I sending my child there? I might go sit down with the funders and say, hey, you know your money would be better spent because students have a better chance of success staying home. Eddington, what do you mean? The data don't lie, right? Right? So think about the power and why it's important for us to have peers, aspirational peers, and why it's important for us to benchmark and compete and excel against our peers, right? So every day I look at that data and I get fired up because I know what we got to do. And what are we trying to accomplish? We want to increase our enrollment by 50% under this plan. We want to triple our annual fundraising. We want to increase research expenditures by 50%. We want to double the number of degrees that we award every year. All of that is outlined in the 5-year university strategic plan, delivering on the promise. It's bold, right? It's bold. And what does the university look like in 5 years? In 5 years, if we, now the we I'm talking about, it's not me, it's not the boards, it's not the administration, it's all of us. It's all the people I described under that one UDC concept, right? If all of us come together and deliver on the promise, 5 years from now, this university will look profoundly different from the one in which we're all gathered. It will still have high quality programs, right? It will still offer workforce training in line with the district needs. It will always have an incredible legacy of individuals who stood on the front lines of reform. But its transformation will be unmistakable as it moves swiftly toward becoming, and you know what I'm about to say, a world-class flagship university for the nation's capital. This is not easy. These are daring goals. Some might say impossible. But anyone who would doubt our immense potential doesn't know UDC. They don't know you. And they damn sure don't know me. You understand what I'm saying? They have yet to be touched by the heat of Firebird pride. That's right. And as far as I'm concerned, whether you're a student, alum, faculty member, staff member, elected official, community member, anyone who's invested in the success of UDC, you are an honorary Firebird. You are a part of Firebird Nation. And we're unstoppable when we come together, when we equally invest in each other and in a shared vision of greatness for this university, one UDC. When I sat down with alumni a few weeks ago, each spoke about their own unique journey. But woven into each story was a common theme, and it was about how UDC changed their lives.
UDC, again, gave me a foundation. I just think that UDC prepares you for the next level.
Awesome that I get an opportunity to be in my town where I was born and raised and be part of an institution, a university. There's a long history of very prominent African Americans, and I could say I'm in the roles. Not so much being prominent, but having been in the roles of joining black folks who've made a difference.
Camaraderie that I was able to achieve here with fellow students internationally, locally, nationwide, they changed my perspective globally on everything that was happening in the world. As a young person from Southeast DC, I was just able to develop the person that I turned out to be.
UDC isn't just about getting a degree. It's about turning that flame into a blazing inferno of positive change.
No, very good. So, as I close, let's deliver on the promise. Let us rise to the occasion. This moment in time, let's do it together. Let us rise. Thank you all. Thank you, sir. Congratulations. I appreciate it. Okay, thank you, Mr. President. Thank you.
Can we give President Eddington another round of applause? And in and through that applause, can we acknowledge our appreciation for his laser focus on all of the things that will transform the institution into a place that will be sustained and continue to evolve well beyond any of us being able to sit in these chairs today. So I want to say thank you. I also want to say thank you to his fellow chemist, Dr. Udiochu, for an amazing introduction. So Dr. Udiochu, thank you so much. I'd now like to welcome to the stage one of the newest members of Firebird Nation, Dr. Ruthie Littleberry. We know her as Terry. She is the new Chief Development and Success Officer. She has been here, I think, 3 months, but she has hit the ground running, and in honor of our honoree on the stage, she's been a quiet storm for the University of the District of Columbia. Dr. Littleberry.
Good morning. I am Terry Littleberry, and I do, as Dr. Massey indicated, have the privilege of serving as the Chief Student Development and Success Officer. And today I'm here to present the Student Humanitarian and Civic Engagement Awards. And just to give you a brief description of the award, the Student Humanitarian and Civic Engagement Award is presented annually at UDC's Founders Day celebration and is awarded to students who have demonstrated a commitment to activism, social responsibility, civic participation, and advocacy for the welfare and betterment of the University of the District of Columbia and the greater community. Our first recipient is Heaven Frazier. Heaven is a full-time sophomore at the UDC Community College, majoring in computer science. She also works as a part-time tutor, specializing in mathematics for area high school and middle school students. In addition, she has taught groups ranging from youth as young as 6 years old to the elderly different cooking techniques that she acquired through Brain Food, a DC nonprofit organization that uses food as a tool to help build life skills and promote healthy living. Ms. Frazier was recently honored through Guardian Innovation, a national initiative now in its 4th year, and presented through the community college. It is designed to introduce entrepreneurship to the full range of students and programs at the UDC Community College. She won a national competition with her idea, which was selected by an external panel, of national judges and resulted in an award and internship shining a light on the talented students and programs at our community college. Born and reared in Washington, D.C., Ms. Frazier graduated from School Without Walls, where she enjoyed gaming and a variety of sports in addition to her education experience. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you our Student Humanitarian and Civic Engagement Award recipient, Ms. Heaven Frazier. Our next recipient, Mr. Jamil Mian. Mr. Mian is a graduating senior, majoring in urban sustainability in the College of Agriculture, urban sustainability and environmental sciences, better known as CAUSES. He is from Washington, D.C., and is the founder of FindMyGreek.com, the world's first social network for Divine Nine Greek fraternities and sororities. Mr. Mian served the university as Mr. UDC for the 22-23 academic year and currently serves in the capacity of chairman of the Undergraduate Studies Senate. In addition to earning a 3.7 grade point average, he holds the title of Pole Mark for the Beta Kappa chapter of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated. Mr. Mian has represented UDC's achievements throughout the country, from tournaments in Los Angeles with our nationally ranked Honda Campus All-Star Challenge Trivia Team, to a poster presentation in Philadelphia as a student representative for UDC at the Middle States Commission on Higher Education, which is our accrediting agency. He is a proud Firebird. Mr. Mian hopes his legacy will leave a mark of achievement, advocacy, and service. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Mr. Jamal Mian. our final student recipient, Mr. Craig Bass. Mr. Bass is a second-year student at the University of the District of Columbia, David A. Clark School of Law. He received his bachelor's degree in business administration and information technology from Middle Georgia State University in 2014. Prior to attending DCSL, Mr. Bass worked in several industries, including the legal and technology fields, and spent almost 2 years overseas serving in impoverished communities. Mr. Bass is passionate about serving others and currently holds leadership positions with the Christian Legal Society, Black Law Student Association, and the Student Bar Association. When he is not studying or serving at law school, he can be found spending time with his wife and 2 daughters. Mr. Bass is originally from Macon, Georgia, but has lived in the D.C. area for the last 7 years. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Mr. Craig Bass. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Littleberry. Congrats to all of the student awardees. And I also want to acknowledge the support of Mr. and Ms. UDC in the handing out of the awards, so thank you. I'd now like to invite Mr. Rodney Trapp. He is the Vice President for the UDC Foundation. He will make the awards in the areas of Pathmaker and Alumni Legacy. Mr. Trapp.
Thank you, Dr. Massey. Good morning. Again, I'm Rodney Trapp, Vice President for Advancement and Executive Director of the UDC Foundation. The Pathmaker Award is an annual honor given at Founders Day to celebrate one alumnus and one current or former university employee. These individuals are recognized for their significant support of the university and its students, showcasing a deep commitment to philanthropy. The first recipient of this year's Pathmaker Award is Mr. Ronald E. Floyd. Mr. Floyd is an alumnus of the university, class of 1973. Mr. Floyd is celebrated for his steadfast dedication and significant contributions to the university. As a distinguished auditor and for the U.S. Pension Benefit Guarantee Corp. And a member of the class of 1973, Mr. Floyd has devoted many years to serving the community. His philanthropic efforts include 24 years of consecutive support to the UDC Foundation, totaling 57 gifts and substantial financial contributions. His generosity has benefited a wide range of university initiatives, such as scholarships, memorial funds, legacy campaigns, and other campaigns. Although Mr. Floyd is unable to join us today due to illness, we will ensure that this award is delivered to him and for his recognition and his long-lasting impact. Our second Pathmaker Award goes to my friend and colleague, Mr. Lee Brian Reber. Mr. Reber, a UDC staff member and senior advisor for university events and protocol in the Office of the President. He's a third-generation Washingtonian. Mr. Reber has shown unwavering dedication to the university for over 12 years. His philanthropy has supported numerous university initiatives, including the UDC Fund, alumni engagement programs, Intercollegiate Athletics General Fund, Athletics Hall of Fame, E.B. Henderson Memorial, Student Assistance Awards Fund, Cass Big Read, Causes Dean's Opportunity Fund, Student Development and Success, just to name a few. Mr. Reba's commitment exemplifies the spirit of service the Pathmaker Awards honors. Mr. Lee Brian Reba. The Distinguished Alumni Legacy Award, also presented annually at the Founders Day celebration, honors a member of the UDC National Alumni Society for their outstanding participation in the society for over 5 years. The award recognizes contributions that enhance the society's image, demonstrate high professional ethics, and engages the community. This year, we're proud to honor Ms. Kalita Boyd for the Distinguished Alumni Legacy Award. Earning her Bachelor of Business Administration in 2007 and a Master of Public Administration in 2009 from UDC, Ms. Boyd has held various roles at the university since 2002. Currently, she serves as Program Manager in the Office of Title III. She's been a prominent education leader and advocate, particularly in Ward 8, pushing for important reforms in DC public schools. As a lifetime member and co-chair of the UDC NAS Membership Committee, Ms. Boyd's dedication to excellence and passion for making a difference are truly commendable. Ms. Boyd? These awards celebrate the exceptional contributions and dedication of our alumni and staff to the University of the District of Columbia and its community. Congratulations to our esteemed awardees. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Trapp. Can we give another round of applause to our awardees? Mr. Floyd, Mr. Reba, Ms. Boyd. I'd like to welcome to the podium now Associate Vice President for the Office of Planning and Institutional Effectiveness, Ms. Maria Bird.
Thank you, Dr. Massey. It is my pleasure to be here this morning. Good morning to our UDC family as we present the University Awards. This is a very exciting time for everyone to see all those staff members who have committed so much to our university and faculty who have committed so much to our students and our university and our larger community. The first award we'll be presenting this afternoon, or this morning, I think we'll probably go into afternoon, is the Dr. Marjorie Holman Parker Distinguished Educator Award. This award goes to Dr. Arlene King-Berry, a professor of special education. Give her a round of applause. Yes, Dr. King-Berry. A professor of special education in College of Arts and Science and chair of the Faculty Senate of the University of the District of Columbia. Throughout her 40-plus years of teaching, research, and service, Professor King-Berry has made major contributions to transforming the lives of individuals with disabilities. We thank you, Dr. King-Berry. Our next award we'll be giving out this morning is the Dr. Cleveland L. Denard Distinguished Service Award. This goes to Ms. Linda Conquest, who she currently serves as information processor for the Office of Recruitment and Admissions and has worked for 40+ years at UDC, starting in the registrar's office. Because of her close relationship she has formed with students, many call her Mom. So we thank you, Ms. Conquest, for your service. Our next award recipient is the Honorable Ronald H. Brown Distinguished Leadership Award, which goes to Dr. Paul Cote. Dr. Cote is professor in UDC School of Engineering and Applied Sciences, where he serves as department chair of Electrical and Computer Engineering, director of the Engineering PhD program, and director of SEAS Research Center. His contributions and impacts have been recognized internationally, nationally, and especially by the National Capital Area's science and engineering community. We will now be presenting the Dr. Paul Phillips Cook Lifetime Achievement Award. This will go to Dr. Angeline Spalding Flowers. Dr. Flowers is a professor and coordinator of the Crime and Justice and Security Studies program at UDC, founding director of UDC's graduate program in Homeland Security, co-director of UDC's Institute for Public Safety and Justice, and lead author for the book, 20 Years of School-Based Mass Shootings in the United States, Columbine to Santa Fe, 2021. She is currently under contract for a book on white Christian nationalism. We thank you, Dr. Flowers. Congratulations. And our final university award is the Myrtilla Minor Award for Exceptional Service to Society. This award goes to someone that many of us have heard over the airways, keeping us informed and educated, and definitely right on the pulse of the heartbeat of what's happening in Washington and across the nation. We want to present this award to Mr. Kojo Nnamdi, the host of the Politics Hour with Kojo Nnamdi, a live talk show produced by WAMU American University that airs Fridays at noon. Mr. Nnamdi joined WAMU in 1998 to host Public Interest, formerly known as The Derek McGinty Show. In 2002, the show was renamed The Kojo Nnamdi Show, which he hosted until the show ended in April of 2021. In addition to his hosting duties, Mr. Nnamdi continues to moderate Kojo and our community live events with WAMU. Thank you. We're going to welcome Mr. Nominee to the podium to give us some words and remarks. Thank you so much.
Good morning. On December 25th, 1974, Christmas Day for some, Kwanzaa Eve for others, I was working at WHUR Radio as the news editor. And I was working that day because nobody else wanted to work on Christmas Day. And I, in those days, self-identified as an atheist. That has changed. But as I was sitting at the editor's desk that morning, I got a call from an individual who identified himself as Chief Drescher, the head of the Secret Service at the White House. I wanted to know why Chief Drescher was calling me. So if you'll bear with me for a moment, there are some of you who may remember this story. Others may be learning about it for the first time. I let the New York Times help me along. December 25th, 1974, a young man dressed like an Arab and seemingly laden with explosives interrupted the Christmas calm of the Capitol today when he crashed his car through a White House gate at 7:07 a.m., then stood for 4 hours a few feet away from the executive mansion. Today's incident began, according to the Secret Service, when the man driving a 1975 brown Chevrolet Caprice smashed through the northwest gate of the White House grounds, a decorated iron grillwork portal on Pennsylvania Avenue. The man emerged wearing a thin white garment resembling a tunic, as well as a white cloth that looked like an Arab headdress. Suffice it to say that he stood there for 4 hours. Tucked in his belt was what appeared from a distance to be a stick of dynamite. Other packets that might have been explosives were attached to his knees with silvery tape. He took black satchels out of the car and put them on the ground in front of him as he stood 10 feet or so in front of the west wing of the White House. In his black gloved hands, he held wires that the Secret Service thought were detonators leading to explosive charges. For the next 4 hours, he stood there in front of the White House. A Secret Service spokesman reported that he spoke with the chief of White House security for the Secret Service, Earl L. Drescher. He reported that the man told Mr. Drescher that he wanted to talk to the Pakistani ambassador. He reportedly made no threats to detonate the explosives. Mr. Drescher told Mr. Fields he could not order the Pakistani ambassador to negotiate. The man, Mr. Fields, then demanded that his message to the ambassador be carried over WHUR, the radio station of Howard University, a predominantly black institution in the District of Columbia. That was the reason I got a call on that Christmas Day from Chief Drescher. Chief Drescher asked me if I would read a message to the Pakistani ambassador on the radio because the man in front of the White House said he would give himself up if I did that. So I read the message, and at 11:01 a.m. that morning, the man surrendered to the Secret Service. I mentioned that story to talk a little bit about what trust in this community means. That man trusted this black-owned radio station to carry his word to the Pakistani ambassador. It didn't mean how important that was to the ambassador of Pakistan. It didn't mean a great deal to him. But to that man, who was a threat to the security of the White House, this trusted community station meant a great deal. Just a little bit about trust. The other about responsibility. Just a few years ago, at WAMU Radio, I had the privilege of interviewing Harry Belafonte. In 1976, January, I had driven to New York to attend and cover for WHUR the funeral of Paul Robeson. There are those of you in this room who know that name, others you can simply look it up. Mr. Robeson was a highly acclaimed performer and activist. And while a lot of celebrities did not attend his funeral, one who attended and spoke was Harry Belafonte. And he was very close to Paul Robeson, and I was a great admirer of Paul Robeson. And Mr. Belafonte also had a very close and long relationship with Dr. Martin Luther King and Coretta Scott King. And after 1976, he had a very close relationship with Nelson Mandela. And so I wanted to interview Harry Belafonte because he had been in personal contact with 3 people from generations past to whom I felt I, as a black man, and black people in general, and the United States and the world, owed all of those people thank you for what they had done. And I was intrigued by Mr. Belafonte's life and his experiences, which he described as we spoke on the radio. And while we were speaking, we didn't know that another lion of the civil rights movement, Julian Bond, you can look that up, was riding in his car listening to the radio. And he drove straight to the WAMU station, which then was on Brandywine Street Northwest, and came into the studio so he could greet his friend, brother, and comrade, Mr. Belafonte, as they left the station. And I was fortunate enough to be in the company of those 2 men, both heroes of mine, and to be reminded by them that they represented generations that, in fact, represented. And it is in that spirit of the representation of responsibility that I'd like to share with you just a few words, especially for the students in this room, words from the late Frantz Fanon. You can look him up. He said, "It is the role of each generation, out of relative obscurity, to discover its mission and either fulfill it or betray it. All I have been doing for these past 50 years is trying to fulfill the role of my generation. It is up to you to fulfill the role of yours." Thank you so much for this award. It is an honor to even think of my name in the same sentence with Martilla Minor. Yet, here I stand more than 170 years after she created the Normal School for Colored Girls in Washington, D.C., which would become Minor's Teachers College, which would eventually become an integral part of the University of the District of Columbia. I have a little bit of history with this institution. When I first came to Washington in 1969, I attended what was then Federal City College, another integral component of UDC. Somewhere around here, I think I have more than 100 credits. As for the services I have performed in the city, whether as a community activist or as a radio and television broadcaster, I am merely returning the love and affection that the people of the District of Columbia have shown for me. It's why I have the DC flag tattooed on my forearm. And why I'd like to thank the people from WAMU who are here, if you are here, please stand, for allowing me to continue to be in service in this way. But despite the DC flag tattooed on my forearm, I can't forget my Caribbean heritage. So, as the new Bob Marley movie is titled, I'll say to you, one love. and thanks.
Oh, wow, that's a lot. So I want to thank Mr. Namdi for being with us today and for having been a drum major of truth and change in this city for decades, and he has influenced every person in this room, whether you know it or not. Look it up, and you will find that I am indeed telling you the truth. So thank you so much, sir. We have come to the end of our program. I want to do a couple of quick thank yous, and then the UDC Chorale is back in place to close us out with song, followed by Reverend Holmes, who will provide our benediction. I want to say thank you to our student ambassadors who have been here since very early this morning, helping to ensure that everything ran smoothly. People were able to find their seats, and enjoy the program. I want to thank the theater crew, led by Prince Nora, Mr. Parker, Joe, Derek, and Stu. The operations team, including our own University of the District of Columbia Police Department, Public Safety Department, and our parking staff. The facilities crew, communication and marketing, led by Vice President Leanne Hall. Mr. Lee Bryan Reba, who was also honored tonight, but he's been working feverishly across several weeks to ensure that this program ran without a hitch. Mr. Will Strong in the office of the CAO, who has been responsible for making sure you had a program in hand today. And last but not least, our timekeeper, our taskmaster, Ms. Denise Slaughter, who has made us all toe the line this morning. So I want to say thank you. I want to welcome the chorale back, and then Reverend Dr. Holmes will come to the podium for benediction, and I'll be back to close this out. Thank you so much.
Inspiring
God be the glory. Jesus often gave parables, which are stories. And so we have one here in his likeness in the closing with the benediction of the UDC Founders Day program. Growing up in Mississippi, I noticed there was two types of trees. The first type of tree that I noticed was called the palm tree. What I noticed about the palm tree is that which way the wind blows, the palm tree goes. In other words, if the wind blows to the left, the palm tree goes to the left. If the wind blows to the right, the palm tree goes to the right. In other words, whichever which way the wind blows, the palm tree goes. But I noticed yet another type of tree in Mississippi. That tree was called the oak tree. What I noticed about the oak tree is that it did not matter which way the wind blowed, whether it blowed to the left or to the right, the oak tree remained strong. President Yankton, Firebird Nation, as you continue to build bridges across the United States of America, and I dare so say the world, there will be winds. Winds come, but winds do go. Winds come, but winds do go, because they're never yet seen winds stay. So in the midst of the blowings of the wind, you keep looking up unto the hills from whence cometh your help, knowing that your help cometh from the Lord. And don't you dare sway from the left nor to the right, but remain strong in the power of the Almighty God. May God bless and keep you is my prayer. Amen.
We want to give another thanks to Reverend Dr. Holmes for being a powerful reminder of our responsibility to this place. We want to give another round of thanks to our president and leader for being a strong planted oak tree, not wavering with the tides of change. So thank you so much. I want to say thank you to the chorale, and I want to acknowledge Professor Jerry Gillespie on piano for the last number. Thank you, sir. At this point, we conclude our ceremony. I want to thank you all for taking the time to pause on this day of reflection for the University of the District of Columbia. Thank you so much.